Hi everyone. Uh, and can you just confirm whether I'm audible or not?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. Today we'll be talking about interoperability of LWC and Aura companies. The session will be taken by Pankaj, our guru, one of our guru. Before we start the session, I just want to give a brief introduction about what saasguru is. Um, Hold on. saasguru is a platform where we help you supercharge your certification breadth and also empower you to get you get you prepared for your certification. How do we do it? How do we do that? We make sure that all the content which is provided to you, it is tailor made for you. One of the key elements of our platform is that all the content provided is not only gamified but also summarized. How this helps you is it removes the unnecessary clutter which distracts you from achieving the day of your certification, and also gives you confidence to give you your best on the certification. What we do best is give you content, free content, also give you live classes, we give you one-on-one mentoring, and also a lot of practice steps. If I had to give you a short summary, I could say that saasguru is a bridge between your learning and your certification. One of a lot of key elements are here, and some of them are we set certain benchmarks so that you know that you so that you can track your performance on daily basis, and also personalize your content to yourself. So we make sure that we get to know your expertise in certain topics, and also provide you content curated especially for you. We also revise the topics to you and also give a lot of practice sessions to the co-customer. One more main aspect of saasguru is we also provide one-on-one mentorship to all the community people. So what we can do is, for all your examination process, for all your projects, you can contact saasguru industry expert people in saasguru and have one-on-one session with all of them. So I would ask you to please join our community. So we conduct regular hackathons every month, and we also provide a lot. We also provide certification vouchers, product tips, and updates, while also giving you live classes and webinars just like this one, and also giving you 24/7 help by our gurus. So I would be dropping down links for Slack community and LinkedIn community. And I think if you check out our Slack community, you would surely love it. You can discuss your projects, your doubts with our gurus, and also with like-minded people in our community. Uh, so Pankaj, I think you can take over.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'll quickly share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So we are here in third session in series of sessions, where in the first session we talked about basics of Lightning Web Component, how we can create it, right? And what are the different files we get. So just to make you familiar with Lightning Web Component. In the second session, we talked about uh, how do we use Lightning Web Components in different use cases. Maybe if you want to put some logic like if else, if you want to render a list, or if you want to display a table, right? Also, we have seen how two Lightning Web components can communicate with each other. So it could be both ways. So from parent to child and from child to parent, right? So this is what we have already seen. Now, we know that when Salesforce has come up with Lightning Web Components, and before this, we already had Aura with us. And currently we do have Aura, right? So a lot of projects have been built on Aura. So the question arises, so what we could do with existing Aura components? Do we need to just replace all those Aura components into Lightning Web component, or is there a way wherein whatever Aura components I have built can remain as is, and whatever future components I'm building, I can still build it using Lightning Web components, and we can use newly created Lightning Web components into Aura? So to answer this question, I'm going to take all of my time for this session, and I'll take you through all different use cases or scenarios you would be seeing in your projects. So to answer your question, this question that if we can use a Lightning Web component in an Aura component, the answer is yes. We can use Lightning Web component into Aura component. Hence, the agenda for today is we can compose Aura component from Lightning Web component. So this is what I just said. And then can we send events to an enclosing Aura component? So let's say I have a Aura component, I placed the Lightning Web component within that. So can I send an event from Lightning Web component, that is child Lightning Web component, to parent Aura component? This is also we're going to see. And then we'll see if we have a JavaScript code and we want to use that code between LWC and Aura. It's like a reusable piece of code. So can we do that? The answer is yes. We'll be seeing it in coming slides. And the last, which says if there are certain components, few are Lightning Web component, few are Aura, or even Visual Force page on a Lightning record page or a home page or an app page. So is there a way wherein these components can communicate with each other? The answer is yes. We do have Lightning messaging channel, and using that we can achieve this functionality. So now moving to the first, wherein if I have a Lightning Web component, right? And I need to use that Lightning Web component into Aura component. So how to do that? So this I'll take you through, wherein I have created this page for the demo purpose. Let us focus on this part of component. If you see, this is a Lightning Web component, child Lightning Web component, and this is a parent Aura component. I'll show you this in the code as well, so that you guys are able to understand well. I hope you are able to see VS Code, right? You are able to see the codes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So let's say I have a component called Aura component. The name is Aura component itself, right? And I have another component with the name LWC Hello World. This is the other component. Okay. So the question and the point of discussion is, can I use this component within existing Aura component? The answer is yes. And how to do that? You can see it here. Let us focus on line number 7. You can simply put your Lightning Web component into Aura component. This is it, right? And whatever content is there in this component would be rendered as soon as you render your Aura component. So whatever content is there in LWC would be rendered in your Aura component. So this is how you could do it. So this is one of the use case wherein you just simply want to put your Lightning Web component into Aura component. But the real world is not so simple. There could be situation wherein you need to play around a lot. So let us start playing. The first or the another use case is I want to pass certain value from this component to this component. Okay. So in order to do that, what I'm doing here is, first of all, I have created one attribute with the name, or a property with the name, right? And what I want to do is I want to pass certain value from aura component to this property, right? Then I'll go to aura component, and you see I'm using the name attribute or a property here, and I'm passing a value. So this is how we pass value in aura world. So we are passing a value of another attribute which has a default value as set from aura, right? Hence you are able to see set from aura in the child component. I'm just repeating again. So I need to pass certain value from aura component to lightning web component. So in order to do that, I need to have a property to which I need to pass value to. So for us, the property name is name itself. I'm passing certain value in by using another attribute with the name aura attribute. And it has its default value as set from aura. And hence we are displaying this property on the UI, and hence we are able to see this value. So this is one of the use case. Okay. Now the other use case is, let's say I have a method in child component. Let me show you that method. So let's say there is a method in child component, and this component is placed or is contained within an aura component. I need to call this method from aura component. Is it possible? The answer is yes, it is. So how to do that? Let me show you. What I'm doing here is I have created a button, and on the click of button from the parent component or the parent aura component, I want to call a method which sits in child component. Okay. So as soon as I click on it, let us focus on this property. Yeah. So the property value changed, and it's changed to set from aura method. So let me show what is happening at the back end. So this is the button in the parent component, right? The name is invoke LWC method. Yeah. So this is the button. On a click of this button, I'm calling a method here, right? So let us see what is there in the method. This method is finding the LWC component using component.find and then calling its method named setName method. This I have already shown you, right? So in order to call a method which sits in child component, child LWC component, but you need to call it from aura component. So first of all, what you need to do is you need to put aura ID with the component. This is where you have declared or defined the component, right? So with this, I have put in a aura ID, and using this aura ID, I am trying to find the component using component.find. So using that, I'll grab this component, and then I can invoke any of the method which sits in child component. So this is another use case. Before moving ahead, is it clear for you guys, or do you need any clarification here? I think it is clear.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about another use case. The components are same. I have a parent component, which is aura. I have a child component, which is LWC. Now I want to pass certain value from this child component to parent component. Or you might have seen such use cases wherein we have two different lightning web components, and there is one of the lightning web component called parent or the other one called child, and they are in a hierarchy, and we need to pass certain value from child LWC to parent LWC. We have seen that we can use events there, right? So similarly, no matter whether your parent component is Aura component or LWC component, we can still fire or dispatch an event from child component and send it to parent. We will see how it happens. But before that, let us see it in action. Now, again, let us focus on this uh, property or attribute which is being displayed, right? I click on this button, and on the click of this button, what I need to do is I'll fire some event or dispatch an event from here, and I'll handle it in the parent component. Let me click on it. So once I click on it, it says handled event from LWC, right? And let me show you how this is happening in the backend. Let us go to child component first. And in the child component, we have a button called dispatch event. On a click of this button, I'm calling this method. This method is dispatching an event. This is very similar to what you have seen in the other session, wherein the parent component was LWC, not Aura. So it doesn't make any difference whether your parent component is Aura or LWC. If you want to have a communication from child to parent and your child component is LWC, you need to follow the same protocols, right? And this is how we are dispatching the event. Now let us see how we can handle it in parent component. Let me open that. Yeah, this is the parent component, right? So here we have used the child component. You remember, in order to handle a component which is dispatched from child, we have to use a keyword called on followed by name of the component event, name of the event. Similarly, if the event name is dispatched from child, let me show you that. Yeah. The event name is dispatched from child. So I'll just use on dispatch from child, and this is how we're gonna handle it in Aura component. But afterwards, since it is Aura, it has a different way of calling the method. I mean, the syntax is different, but the logic remains the same, right? So on the firing of event, I'm handling it from parent component, and I want to call this method in Aura component. Let's see what this method looks like. Yeah, so this is the method, right? What I'm doing here is I'm just setting the attribute value to handled event from LWC, right? Hence, we can say that no matter whether your parent component is LWC or Aura, if your child component is LWC, and if you still want to fire an event from LWC and capture it in parent Aura component, we can do that, right? So this is one of the use cases wherein we have Aura, we have LWC, and we want to have communications. Yeah, I think I have already covered it. So before moving further, any questions on this? No? All right. Now what we will learn is, let's say I want to create a reusable piece of code or a JavaScript code and want to place it in our system, and I want that either my LWC or Aura, they should be able to use it. Okay. So in order to do that, we need to put our code in ES6 module. ES6 module is nothing but a JavaScript file in Lightning Web Component world, right? And that file, we are calling that file as a service component, right? And this service component we need to call from Lightning Web Component if we have to use it in LWC, and we need to call this file or this service component from Aura component if we need to call it or utilize it in Aura component. So I'll show you how to do that. For the demo purposes, what I have done is I have created two components. This one is library caller LWC and the other one is library caller. The name should be Aura here. Sorry for typo. And it should be library caller Aura. Okay. So once I click on this button, it will call a function which is defined in service component and return the value. So once I click on it, you see it returns true. And here also the function is same. It returns true. I'll show you what is written there in the uh, utility class or the service component, and then it will make more sense. So in order to do that, what we need to do here is, first of all, I need to create a utility file or a service component. So just for the demo purposes, what I did is I have created a function. I have created a util.js file, and this util.js file has a function named isFunction. Okay. And it returns whether the passed parameter is a function or not. I'm just repeating again. I have created a utility JavaScript file with the name utils.js. Within that utils.js, I have defined a function with the name as isFunction, and I'm passing a certain value as a parameter. What this function does is, if the passed parameter is function itself, it will return true. If it is not, then it will return false. So this is the utility class, and this is the not utility class. This is the service component, and this is a function which I want to reuse it in Aura and as well as in LWC. So first step, create this service component, and hence we will be able to use it further. Let's say now this component has been created. I want to utilize this component in a Lightning Web component. You see, in the first session, I talked about this is a module, right? Which stores lot of reusable files or reusable functions, methods, classes. Similarly, now we have created another service component with the name utils. In order to use it, we need to import it first. And I want to use its function called isFunction from this. So this is how we're gonna import it first before actually using it, right? And if you see on the UI, I have a button called check type. When I click on that button, I'm calling this method, right? And what this method does is, this method sets a value of a property named result, and from where it is setting, it is calling this function. You see, this is a function I imported from here. I have never defined this function within this file, right? I am importing it from here and I'm using it. And within this function, what I'm passing is another function. This is, I'm passing another function as a parameter, which I just talked about. And since this parameter is a function, hence we are able to see the value as true on the UI. You see? And very similarly, if I need to use this in Aura component, Same functionality. This is Aura component. I have a button here, and then it displays true or false based on whatever parameter we are passing in. But how we can call it is a bit different here, right? So first of all, what I did is I have just included this cutils component within the Aura component with the Aura ID as utils, you see. And then on a click of button, I am calling this method or function called handle click. And let's see what is there in the handle click. So on the handle click, what I'm doing is I'm just using component.find, and then using this attribute called libcmp, I am calling the function. And same, I am passing another function within this function, right, as a parameter. And hence we are getting the value as true over the UI. Guys, is it making some sense? Do you have any question around it?
As of now, no, Pankaj.
Perfect. I hope this is clear then. Now I want to talk about communication between LWC, Aura, and Visualforce page. So let's say there is a situation wherein I have three components. And for demo purposes, I have created three components for you guys. One is Lightning Web component. This one is Aura component. And this is just ignore the name. This is a VF page. I'll show you. Sorry. Yeah, you see, this is a Lightning Web component. This is a Aura component, and this is a Visualforce page. Okay. And what I want is, I want to have communication between these three components. But in order to do that, we need to utilize another or new metadata which Salesforce has come up with, which is called Lightning Messaging Channel. Let me show you here. Yeah, you see, we have a metadata called Lightning Message Channel, right? So first of all, what we need to do is we need to create this metadata. And while creating this metadata, I have defined two fields here. You see, one field name is message to send, what message I want to send, and another field name is source system, from where this message is sent. So you can customize this metadata or Lightning Message Channel based on your requirement. But for the demo purpose, I have created just two of them. One says message to send, which means what is the message I want to send, and the other one is source system, right? So this is the prerequisite, and based on what we have, what fields we have in this Lightning Message Channel, we'll be able to utilize it in either LWC or Aura or Visualforce page. And before jumping to the functionality or how we have to use it, let us understand some of the background and the logic behind it, how it actually works. So this Lightning Message Channel is very similar to, let us assume it to be a common channel, and wherein somebody will send certain message, and those who have already subscribed would be able to receive those messages. It is very similar to your, maybe if you, nowadays we are not using FMs, but earlier we used to do a lot, wherein we can subscribe or tune into certain frequency, right? So radio stations broadcast certain message, and when we tune into certain frequency, we used to receive the contents in the form of songs or news or whatever, right? So it is very similar to that. So let us see functionally first how it happens and what would be the different use cases or the features we're gonna have, and then I'll talk more about the code. So lightning lightning message channel could be used in, I'm repeating, could be used in LWC, Aura, as well as in Visual Force page. Okay. So let's say this component wants to publish something. So I can say saasguru session started. Yeah. I want to publish this message from a Lightning Web component to anybody who has already subscribed to this channel. Which channel? The channel which I am using here is, the name of this channel is My Message Channel. This is what I just talked about, right? My Message Channel. So I want to pass or publish this message. I put in the message and click on this subscribe button. Sorry, the publish button. When I click on the publish button, I do not see anything happening here because this do not have capability to subscribe. For understanding purpose and for demo purpose, I just put in publish button here. Deliberately, I did not put in subscribe button. But on this VF page, you see a subscribe button, right? And since I haven't subscribed yet, hence I'm not able to see these messages. But let us see what happens when we actually subscribe it. When I click on this subscribe button, what happens at the back end is, so this component has now subscribed to a channel named My Message Channel. Okay. And now let me publish the message again. Once I click on it, you see received message says saasguru session started and the source is from LWC, right? Which means if I want to publish something, then I have to use a function or method which comes as a part of this channel, which is called publish, and using that I can publish it. At the same time, when somebody wants to subscribe to that channel, then the component needs to call a method called subscribe first, then only that component would be able to subscribe it, right? So once I did it, then only I was able to see this message. Otherwise, I was not able to, right? Now I clicked subscribe here, right? But I haven't clicked the subscribe in Lightning Web component. From Aura component, I'm subscribing, I'm publishing something, a hard-coded message, right? You see the message has changed. It says this message is coming from Aura publisher. But we do not see any message over here because the reason is same. This component hasn't subscribed to this channel. Let us subscribe it and try for one more time. Yeah. You see, now the source system is from Aura and you're able to see the message and it says this message is coming from Aura publisher, and similarly here. Okay, so before I jump to the code part, do we have any question here?
Can we subscribe directly, like without button click? Like
Yes,
right now we.
definitely. Definitely. On load, we can do that.
Okay.
But for the understanding purposes, I
Okay.
just have created these buttons. So
Okay.
we
Yeah. Thank
just,
you.
yeah. So we just saw the subscription part, right? But we do have unsubscribe as well. Let us explore that. So you just saw I published something from the Aura component, and we are able to receive it from Lightning Web component and in the VF page both, right? But let's say I do not want to receive the message anymore. What I would do, I'll simply go and unsubscribe it. Okay. So once I unsubscribe it, and when I publish it again, although this is the older message and I did not put the logic to remove it. So maybe let me try this first and then show you again. So first what I'm doing is I'm passing something, I'm publishing something from this Visual Force page. I think this is not working or what. Yeah. I published the message as test from this Visual Force page, right? But it looks like there is some issue here. It is not being reflected. Let me refresh it then. Okay. Yeah. So let's say what I'm doing here is I am passing certain value and I do not want to receive it anymore, right? So first I clicked on this. I'm not receiving anything. Then I subscribe to the channel. Then I published again. I'm seeing this message, right? But now I unsubscribed it. And let me pass some value from here. See, the message hasn't changed, right? So the message hasn't changed, right? So which means that we do have three capabilities. One is publishing the message, subscribing the message, and unsubscribing the channel or the message, right? Let me talk about the code then. So this is the Lightning Web component used here. Let me show you. Okay. So this is the Lightning Web component I have used, right? So wherein you are seeing all these buttons, publish button, subscribe button, and unsubscribe button. You're able to see publish button, subscribe button, and unsubscribe button. These all buttons are tied up to a method: handle change, subscribe, unsubscribe. I'll show you the JavaScript part, right? So you see handle change, publish, subscribe, unsubscribe. So these are the certain within this methods. You are seeing a subscribe method, you are seeing unsubscribe method, right? You are seeing publish method. This is what you get as a part of this Lightning message channel, right? So in order to use the Lightning message channel in Lightning Web component, as we do for modules, right? What we need to do is here, we need to import this channel, as well as we need to use these functions: subscribe, unsubscribe, publish from messaging services, right? And then we can use these functions all the way to the component based on our use case or the business needs. So this is the Lightning Web component part. Now let's talk about the Aura part. So for Aura, we know that we do not have a subscriber method, right? All we have is a publisher method because we are having just a button for publishing certain events. So within this, you see we have a button called publish, and also I have used the lightning messaging channel here. This is how we can include the message channel in Aura component. And this button is tied to a method called publish MC. And let's see what is there in the controller. Okay. So in this method, what we are doing is we are setting the values. You remember these are the two fields which we have created in the message channel, and we are just passing some hard-coded value. So system as from Aura and message to send as this message is coming from Aura, right? And then using the same which we have used component.find, and this is the ID of the messaging channel we have used in the markup or the CMP file. And then using that, I'm calling a method called publish, right? So this is how we can use a lightning messaging channel in Aura components. Now let us quickly talk about the VF page as well. So if you see this VF page has three buttons there, right? And a text box, which is very similar to what we had in Lightning Web Components. So I believe you guys are very familiar. These are the three buttons in place, and with all the three buttons, I'm calling a method for all these three, right? Publish, subscribe, and unsubscribe. All these methods are defined within the JavaScript section within the same Visual Force page, right? Publish and then subscribe and then unsubscribe, right? So this is a standard way of using lightning messaging channel. What you need to remember or the takeaway would be, so first you need to create a channel. In the channel you need to define what all fields you're going to use, and with these channels you do get three methods. One is for publishing, another one is for subscribing, and another one is for unsubscribing. So with this, I think we have come to the end of the session. And do we have any questions?
Can we use LMS in ScreenFlow as well?
In screen flows, I haven't tried yet, but definitely I can explore it and put it in the saasguru community. So stay updated. I'll put my findings there. Please join saasguru community if you haven't joined it yet. Any more
Is it
question?
possible?
Yeah.
Is it possible to subscribe from Aura component?
Yes, it is possible. So deliberately, I have not put in those buttons here, but it is possible. All three functions are available in Aura, in LWC as well as in VF component.